I'm Virginia Mahoney, and I'm here with Matt Mack, and we're talking with Bill Hogan, candidate for Counselor at Large today. And we're talking on behalf of the Creative Network. We're an organization in the city whose mission is to build and become the financial and promotional engine to support the arts in Brockton. And we're working with Mass Creative to talk to candidates about their stance on the arts. And one thing we did was mail a questionnaire to all of them with 5 questions. Personal connection with the arts and culture in Brockton, addressing citywide issues, arts education and programs for youth, and partnerships with the creative community and private industry. So those were the 5 general topics of the questionnaire. And so we're going to be talking to Bill about his personal take on all of this. And so I think the first thing I want to ask you is, tell us a little story about your own personal connection with the arts, whether it's music, theater, dance, visual art, whatever.
Okay, that'll be a short story. I support the Brockton Arts here in Brockton, but I couldn't draw a stick figure or it's awful. It's actually awful.
Appreciation is a great
Yes, well, I like to support Brockton, period. So what I do is I go to the art shows at Enzo Flats. I come here to the Brockton Arts when Arnie Danielson runs his art shows, and I support it. I usually sit in the corner and drink my coffee and say hello to everybody. And that's my take on it. I have gone out of my way to design kind of an art trail through my downtown Brockton Museum. I'm very much Brockton history orientated, so I have a close relationship with the Brockton Library, with the new, especially with the new library director Paul Engel, and he's very community orientated. So what I'm telling you is I'm not an artist. I went to your show last year at Enzo Flats, the Banks of Salisbury, I believe it was, and I enjoyed myself. Your art I understood a little bit of it, but it was a great thing for Brockton, so I was there and I fully support the arts. My art trail encompasses the Brockton Library. I actually use that as more resonating from the Brockton Library. It's history, and there's a lot of art in the library. The City Hall actually has some Civil War murals. The Fuller Craft is on my trail. Also Enzo Flats and Stacy Adams. There is probably some private art in the Brockton area too, especially some of the older homes on West Elm Street and that kind of thing. So I'm not sure if that answers the question. Also, I have a close relationship with, well, I did anyway, with the Brockton Symphony Orchestra. I still do with Amy Coram. And I'm trying to design find a place for a permanent home for the Brockton Symphony Orchestra. I think I've found a place for an outdoor venue in Salisbury Park, which is on Crescent Street. I've been looking it over and kind of designing it. I'm very good with logistics. I was a courier for years, dispatching and things like that. So for me to talk about art wouldn't be fair to the arts. I'm more into the logistic and promoting Brockton itself, and Brockton Arts in general is a big part of it. Does that help?
That's that's perfect.
Appreciation for the arts.
Sure.
We need lots of appreciators.
Sure. Yeah.
Appreciation and promotion. That's part of
and,
there.
Yeah, and I bring my family. My mom has a little bit of an idea, and she likes the paintings, and she goes around. And I'm not saying I don't like them, but it's just sure. And it's like a baseball thing we were talking earlier. I know baseball pretty good. I go to the Brockton Rocks game, but I would go whether it was. It's Brockton, whether I knew anything about Brockton. So I think what I'm looking for myself, and I'm going to try to promote as running for council at large, is to promote Brockton and support Brockton. The art people should support the sports. The sports should support the arts.
So you like that?
You can go and have a fried dough and watch the baseball game. You don't have to know whether it's 3-2 and there's a fast runner on second. You don't need to know all
Just
that.
as long as you're all looking out for each other. Yeah.
We've come to a point in Brockton that we need to come together and co-promote, co-coordinate, co-cooperate.
Yes.
Yes, that kind of thing. If I can mention Edison this year, he's He's the producer here, I believe. He's on board with my Downtown Fest Brockton. This year he did an event here on at Stacy Adams. And this is a great location, by the way. I love this factory. Rocky Marciano has a history here. Rocky Marciano worked here.
He did?
He worked there, yes, yeah, long time ago. And so sports, Stacy Adams, there's a connection there. And irony is that the Enzo Flats art studio, I'm going to call it, that was also a Stacy Adams.
Right,
So the
yes.
two new art venues here in Brockton are both in Stacy Adams buildings. Yeah.
That's great.
That's very interesting. Actually didn't
Yeah,
know
it's
that.
really, yeah.
I have all kinds of useless
Walking
information up here.
encyclopedia, Mr. Hogan. Do you have
Yeah.
something you'd like to ask?
Yes.
Yeah.
How would you propose maybe using arts to solve maybe social issues here in Brockton?
Well, you know, I don't know, to be honest with you. That's my honest answer. I'm not one for big protests and yelling and screaming and things like that. I'm more for action. I think if people just got to work, you know, if you want to relay something, well, get to work. You know, open up a business, relay a message that way. If art is your way, well, then that's your way. Back to sports again. I relate to sports quite a bit. A fighter, a boxer, may take out his frustrations by becoming a fighter. So I can relate to that a little bit. I played a little bit of sports. Not that I was a fighter, I wasn't. But if that's your way of expressing yourself, I have no problem with it all. Yeah.
All right.
And what about as a counselor at large in terms of supporting arts education? You know, I know you have to make lots of decisions, budget decisions
Sure,
in the
yeah.
city, and the schools have had it rough for
Yes,
the past few
yep,
years. And
sure.
so, you know, what's your take on supporting arts education with everything else that has to be supported?
Well, I'm fully for it. I know we're talking about the state cuts in state funding and things like that. So it would be nice if they just fully funded it. But I would like to, as a city councilor, I'd like to put Brockton back on a course where we're taking care of ourselves, where we're not depending on the state funding in general for anything.
Self-sufficiency.
Self-sufficiency. It's been a long time. It's before I was born, and we've been dependent on the state for everything, most things anyway. And it's tough to tell the state what to do and how much money we need. When we try something like that, there's always strings attached, and we end up seeing to get the short end of the stick, say. But I would hate to see any more cuts to the arts. That's for sure. Yep.
Okay. And do you have any ideas about how the creative community can partner with, you know, public-private
Yeah.
public-private
Sure.
partnerships?
I do. I do run a festival. It just got over a couple days ago, called Downtown Fest Brockton. Then there's Summerfest. I call it Summerfest Brockton. Everything has a Brockton thing for it.
Yeah.
I think what we need is the art community to become a little more involved with those events earlier, not sign up the night before the event with a little booth in the corner. I think that they should be planning an art show for Summerfest next year in the art building. It has a name now. It didn't in the Fine Arts Building, but it's the Fine Arts Building. I think what we do is, all of us, we wait a little bit too long. If they did that, then we can get the corporate sponsorships together a lot sooner. My festival is designed to help businesses. It's a business-oriented festival for downtown, but it's very much like Summerfest. It's a lot like Summerfest, except that it's downtown. And Towerfest is another one, which is a great festival up on the in Fields Park. The Full of Craft is right there. Whether they have anything to do with the Towerfest, I don't know, but they should. You know, I'm not telling them how to run their business, but sometimes what we're doing is we're being too courteous with each other. Somebody won't run an event during my festival out of courtesy of not running against me, and that's exactly what I don't want. I want them to run an art museum during my festival downtown.
Okay.
Yes, I want like a three-ring circus. I want everybody coming, so there's people coming to the car show, people coming to the art show.
So there's
People-
something for everyone.
Yes, Toy Train Museum, yes, exactly. And Summerfest is a venue that's under-tapped. I mean, we could go all weekend there. And, yeah, and it has just about everything you could
Yeah.
want on that complex, campus. Yeah.
Definitely. Well,
right.
I think that wraps it up. I
Yeah.
appreciate you being here
Good.
to talk to us.
Thank you for having me.
Again, Bill Hogan, Counselor at Large, and running for Counselor at Large. And I want to give you just a minute or so to say something you want to say to everyone. We thank you for watching, and I'll turn it over to Bill.
Okay, well, thank you to Creative Network for inviting me. Gary, my buddy Gary Leonard, even picked me up and brought me down here from my downtown Brockton Museum, which is down the street. It's actually a welcome center, a tourist welcome center, but it's business orientated also. So I want people in Brockton in particular to drop off their business cards, posters, flyers, any events you're coming up. I'm running for councilor at large, but what I'm doing is I'm doing Brockton first, me second. If I can get some things on board on the agenda, then I'll be happy. I hope they win one of the 4 seats. I'm a competitor, so I do want to win. But I'm going to continue with my projects, whether I win or lose. And thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time.
All right.
Thank you very much.